Please welcome Kristen Stewart. She's got...
She's like a perma-pup. This dog is like forever baby. Hey, sweetheart.
Very sweet. And she approves of you.
Dude, the idea that an animal could accept a hand coming at their face in this environment, she's doing well. You've raised her well.
Well, thank you. But even before that an animal has seen Spencer twice.
Well, she's heard it twice, which I can't believe.
No, she's actually seen it, and she approved of Pablo. She liked Pablo's directing, and she adored your acting. Oh. So, yeah, but now that she's got enough attention,
back to bed. Important, yeah.
Well, thank you for being here.
No, thank you for fucking being here, too. How did Pablo sell this to you? It's just remarkable that this whole journey in this movie is about her inner life and not caught up in biographical facts. It's all about the emotion and the internal life. How did he approach you for it? Like with the sound of his voice. I very irresponsibly said, I will follow you anywhere, because he was like, well, he called me up on the phone and was like, I have this idea. And he leaves very long pauses in between things that he says on the telephone, which is very fucking awkward. And I'm already like, I'm talking to Pablo Larraín. I love your movies. Like, I was like, okay, hi. Well, what can I do? Like, what? Hi. What is it? What is it? And he's like, Kristen. Anyway, so he was like, I have this idea that we make a movie about Diana, and we touch nothing that anyone has seen before, but we touch everything that we know about her and try and shove it into a dream and like a weird poem. And I was like, it seems impossible, and I'm from LA and I'm 5'5" and I have green eyes and you're insane. But I can't say no to you, because I just knew that I loved this guy, and the script then became something that was so substantial and bolstered all of the sort of like vague ideas that made me feel good. Mm-hmm. And it felt so substantial. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's it.
When Pablo was here, we talked about that you do something that remarkable, where rarely seen in movies, where we see Kristen Stewart on screen and your charisma and your star status, but then we also see Diana. There is like an alchemy happening where we've seen performances where the actor is completely lost behind the facade and the character. But with you, we see the star that Kristen Stewart is, but we also see Diana. Was that calculated?
Did your dog tell you to say this? Come on.
Was that something that was calculated? Not the star wattage aspect, but the fact that we see Kristen and we see Diana living within the same performance.
I guess the reason he said that we're never going to touch anything that anyone has seen before is because that in itself has a sort of sacred feeling. This person is someone that we have martyred and built up and torn down 1,000,000 times. And I think the lasting impression that I have is that she makes you feel kind of accompanied and reflected no matter who you are. And that is somebody that has a talent that our business covets. All we want to do is be like, hey, I'm with you. And that's what she does. And so there was no way for me to do it perfectly, because you can't fake that. You have to be like, dude, I am with you. And I had to whatever, tear through lots of research and become protective of her and get to know her in a way that only I could, and in a way that only anyone who dealt with her could do personally, and then try and just sort of transmute that in a way. And so like I had like a list of expressions that she made, and like words she said, or like certain ways that her laugh like rose and fell. And then I had to like choose moments to shove it in, but it was never like anything that anyone could cross-reference. Like it was never anything like, let's recreate this scene that everyone knows. It was like, let's try and love her and like absorb her, and then, yeah.
You work very closely with one of my favorite cinematographers, Claire Mathon. Mathon. You know, she did portrait.
It works.
Yes, that's why I keep it. You know, she did Portrait of a Lady on Fire. I have never been so aware of a relationship between an actor and the camera, where she's so you seem to be having a dance with the cinematographer. Can you tell us about having the camera so close to you and that relationship with the cinematographer? Yes, you're up there.
I thought there was like a cartoon up there. I was like, what is that? Are we watching like
No, it's so the people in the back row can still see us.
So.
Working with Claire.
Yeah, I remember.
And
So she's oddly actually like a really shy person, and she does not hide behind the camera. Like she uses it to get close to you, and there's such a massive ego thing that happens with people that take pictures. She doesn't have that thing. Like she actually uses it in order to get close to you, versus like she's taking something from you. And I think also under the direction of Pablo, like he was so committed to the perspective of Diana, and being so like fully committed and like not distracted by things that are very interesting. Like I would probably have gone somewhere else. Like at some point, he like penetrated this personal space. And so I never had to broadcast anything, and he often picked up the camera, and it never felt like he was taking like the job of the person who was the director of photography. Do you know what I mean? Like it was never, and that always happens. There's always this sort of like bullshit groundwork that people lay, where it's like, this is an impossible task. Only I could do this. That is not true. You either want to hang out and be together and do a thing, or you want to dictate your ego to everyone. And she is just somebody who wanted to look and receive. And like, no matter what I did, and it was very sporadic and all over the place, like she was just there before I was there. Because she's honest and she's cool.
But
like,
the camera is so
yeah, we would like bump into each other.
And
it's a wide angle lens, and like to look at something so sprawling but so up close, I don't honestly, like I would love to have a reference for this. I'm talking about my own movie, so it's like super embarrassing, but I'm in it, whatever. This was not my idea. I've never fucking seen that. I've never seen somebody just like go, maybe like Son of Saul, like that movie where like you just follow this person, but you never turn around. Like the fact that you do both, the fact that you feel like you are her, and you are also being able to observe her. And I mean this in a meta, I don't mean like, I mean from a logistical approach. Like I hope that this came across. Whatever. The result is a different thing, but the intent was like the most intimate I've ever felt. I never had to tell anyone anything. I was just like being seen. Mm-hmm. It is a really nice feeling.
But you never felt intimidated by the closeness of the camera?
No, because I didn't have to be like, hey, do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, no, of course, no. I can't hide from you. Like, yeah.
Yeah. I don't recall seeing a film where she appears, Diana, she appears so small at times, and then at other times so big. Was that How was it from your end navigating somebody who could seem so small at times and fragile, and then other times so empowered?
It was really nice. Like that's her. I have the same exact impression. There are times where she looks like her skeleton is gonna like crumble with the fucking video game sound effect. And then you add like her kids to the equation and she's gonna slaughter you. Like it is, to be so big and so small is what lets you in. Like that person, fuck the movie. That person did that. And it's so rare. I have no answer for that.
You mentioned the kids. The relationship with the kids is so lived in and so instrumental in telling her story. Tell us about working with the children and that side of her being a mother and so committed to being a mother.
So that was like kind of the only concerted effort that we made to be like exact and specific. The kids were, in contrast to how we shot the rest of the movie, incredibly free. The whole thing was super precise. The script was exact. His words were perfect. Like they played a certain game that if you changed them, the song was wrong. But with the kids, like they really needed to live and they needed to like hold up this person and give you something to fight for. And every picture I've seen of her, every video, she feels unconditional when her kids are around. She feels like somebody who you can't really mess with. And in contrast, like you said, like when she's not with them, and I'm not saying this is the only thing that she has to like hold on to, but primarily, visibly, that is kind of seemingly the only thing where she feels just like you can't mess with that. And Pablo is also somebody who has children and was like, you guys need to feel like a three-headed animal. If we don't want to fight for this, we failed her. Like that is the whole thing. And in doing so, he like let these children be children and people, and they were just great. To be honest, I fully reflected them. They were so nice. They came to set knowing exactly what their job was. They were like, so I'm supposed to love you? I was like, yes. No, but that's, well, whatever.
You capture her accent, but even more importantly, you capture her tonal quality. Was that for you a challenge? Was it super easy? What was it like?
Super easy.
Okay.
No, I knew about this movie for like a year and a half before I did it, and so it was like, your dog is snoozing right now.
That's because she finds you very soothing and comfortable.
We're making eye contact right now.
Yeah, she's not threatened by you in any way.
Okay, so I had a year and a half to work on it, and I had a coach that was incredible. And I've never worked with an acting coach before, but he did so much more than just sort of make sounds for me to imitate. It's not perfect. The accent is totally different. It's like I have a certain accent, and there are certain words that I fell in love with, and certain intonations that I was like, that's so her. But we had to meet each other halfway, or else it would have just never felt like, felt. Well, there's no magic trick. I don't know. I just did it. I was like, you just listen. It's like if you do an impression of your very good friend, I bet you could do a really good job impersonating like your very good friend if you just spend enough time around someone.
Mm-hmm. I have to ask you about the pearl necklace sequence. Some people are snickering about it. How do you approach a scene like that? It's so out there, but so telling about the character. Tell us about shooting that moment.
So like in the script, there's a heightened reality for sure. Like it's a nightmare. But I was very surprised that Pablo pushed it to the extent that he did, because it could have been like one flash. This is where every single minute, like every single presence on set, every person that's standing there actually affects the movie. He could have done that a million ways. But the fact that it goes on for so long and it shrieks in the way that it does shocked me. I was like, this is a surreal movie. We're in her body. We're whatever, daring to like imagine and dream. But like I can't believe the commitment to the nightmare. I was like, we shot it all day. We had a live band playing the music. I actually couldn't believe it, because if you read the script, it really could have been a flash. And so when I was like munching on M&M pearls and like spilling soup down.
They were M&M pearls?
They were chocolate, yeah.
Wow.
I didn't eat a pearl. I should be like, and then when I broke my teeth on the pearls. Like, that would be the right story to tell. What am I doing?
But I interrupted you. You were talking about.
I mean, that's it. Literally just, if you are having an extreme feeling, there's no real way to externalize that. You can tell anyone. You can be like, dude, my head's gonna explode. Mm-hmm. And he just exploded her head. Like, he actually just visualized that. And like the only thing that does that is like poetry. It's not even in, you know what I mean? Like that's the only thing that actually does that, is to take yourself so seriously and take your feelings so seriously is never done, because we're self-effacing people, whatever. Like that's naturally, we're like, no, I don't guess I matter. It's like, no, that feeling, even though everyone was fine and you were being dramatic and that dinner was beautiful and honestly, you were the problem. Like you were the one that was being annoying. It doesn't matter.
Correct.
Her fucking head was exploding. Like it's nice to just sort of pay a little bit of credence to feeling.
One of the things that, and I think you alluded just now, one of the things I love about your performance is that she felt so restrained, but then there are moments where she is able to express herself, but not directly. She expresses herself, her body, the way she...
Diagonally.
Can you tell us about navigating that world of being contained and then once in a while being able to really express what she needed and what she wanted?
Well, yeah, because she wasn't allowed to talk. Like, she was just reaching out from behind. She was muzzled, to the most crazy extent. And obviously, if someone's got their hand over your face like this, you're gonna really give eyes. Do you know what I mean? I think outfit choices. Ultimately, she became incredibly activated and articulate, and talked about her bulimia and talked about her whole mental health cycle, which went back and forth from extreme. She felt like this extreme value and this extreme degradation, where it was like, I'm the best thing, I'm so beautiful, but also everyone fucking hates me. And so it's so weird to be so revered and so loved, and ultimately she was stripped of any chance to develop as a person. She was what? She was 18 when she fully got enmeshed with this whole that in itself. It's impossible to grow into a person that's supposed to exist, and then be why isn't this working? Why can't I feel like a whole person? She was never allowed to be a whole person, but yet she was expected to function as one. So yeah, well, what was the question?
No, it's about the, living with that contradiction
Yeah.
of being, as you say, muzzled. But then,
But she screamed. I mean, like everything she did, her hands spoke more than, you know what I mean? Like she
It
was
was
impossible to not.
that I was referring to, that she expresses physically, and you handle it so beautifully, where we understand the turmoil, where she's contained, but then she's trying to communicate physically her.
And she's winning. Like whenever I see her, I'm like, dude, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wish that she had friends. I wish that she had some incredible sister or something that was like, oh, I'm gonna pull you out of this. But she did it ultimately. And that's what's hard about watching the movie, is that you're like, so we ran this whole way, we fought for all this stuff. She did get it. Like, least we forget. Like, she actually did spend 2 years speaking and directly speaking in like this, which must have felt incredible. But
What
yeah,
wa-
it was, there was a large period of time where she was communicating diagonally, for sure.
What was it like for you to see the film the first time? How did you feel seeing yourself as Diana?
Well, I guess actually the first time we shot on 16 and 35 millimeter film, which is a really rare experience. And so I was like, so we can't watch anything. This is kind of a big deal. I want to be able to see it. Like I need to know what the shape of this thing is. And we watched the screen tests all together, and I believed him. There's no other way. We shouldn't do Q&As. Like this is so weird. But like I really like looked at the thing and I was like, okay. I mean, it's both of us, but I was like, there was something that I was holding that was hers, and it's definitely not. It's mine too. It's like ours. I don't know. It was really fun. I don't know how to answer that.
No. And what have you learned? What are you still carrying from Diana? And
Nothing. So yeah.
did it change you, having played this role?
It was such a joy. Like, it's really easy to fixate on the stuff that sucks. Every single day, I was elated. Like, I couldn't believe that we got to come so close to something so bright, even if it was just like our projections. It was so much fun.
I'm
Like,
glad to
and I
hear,
feel
because
good, yeah.
when I watched the film, you're playing a character with so much trauma, and carrying that trauma.
She's incredible. Like, I mean, not her. Fuck the movie. I just mean like her. It's impossible not to be like, imagine if you could hold that and see it come off on other people. Like it worked. Like when I tried to funnel that notion, the whole crew was like, I was like, yes. Like we just had such a great time together.
So it was, so even though it was very traumatic, it was a character filled with trauma, the shooting was very joyful for you. And
that would be the takeaway, yeah.
you were able to leave the character behind and then move on. And
No, I'm saying she made me feel great, and I still have that. Like there are some people that rub off on you. She makes you feel good about yourself. She makes you feel better. She was sad, but also, like, she was able to make you feel better about yourself. And I genuinely was like, God, imagine even just pretending to have that effect on people. It feels good. Yeah.
the roles you have picked and taken in the past few years, Personal Shopper, Clouds of Sils Maria, which, by the way, gang, she's the first American to win the César, the equivalent of the Oscar, in history, which is for Clouds of
You don't
Sils
have to
Maria.
clap, honestly.
No, you
It's
should
okay.
clap.
It's okay.
It is a big deal, but it has been this choices that you have made are challenging choices. There's a great amount of trust that you have done to align yourself with Pablo Larraín, or Is that something that was that you were determined to do, to take chances, to do independent cinema, et cetera?
Yeah, of course. I almost didn't work with Olivier. Like, he directed the movie that he's talking about.
Olivier Assayas.
Yeah. And I almost lost that part to someone because like there was like a miscommunication, and I think that people come together as friends, and everyone can relate to this, whether or not you make movies. Where are we? Does everyone make movies, or is this just a screening? I don't know. But like, if you choose movies the way that you choose your friends, like you're like, dude, I need this. I need to do it. You know, like, yeah, sometimes you're wrong and sometimes you're right. But like most of the time, if you're right, it's the largest gift that life can give you.
But it took a big leap of faith on your behalf to go with something like Pablo Larraín telling you.
That fucking psycho. No, but he's insane. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, no, we've met him. But incredibly talented man. But it did take. Did you measure the degree of risk? You just said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go all the way." Or.
Oh yeah, no. The thing is, it's so much better to like crash and burn. And I've done it, and I will do it again. I told him that I wanted to do this movie before I read the script. I was like, I can tell by the way that you feel right now. It's just the right thing to do. And also, if you start being so precious about stuff that you make, you will never make anything daring or cool. And I just want to be daring and cool. So.
Well, you definitely are, and yeah, blown away by your performance in this. You deserve to be nominated. You deserve to win. What an incredible achievement. You should be very proud of yourself.
Thank you so much for saying that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody.